Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another Grapple Live here on the Grapple YouTube. Apologies for the delay there. Got locked out of my own YouTube account there. I've got Andy Ogden waiting backstage, so I was worried there was going to be a Graps and Claps takeover. It said there was suspicious activity, and apparently somebody had tried to log on in Thailand. Yeah, that's fucking me. Thank you, Google. But we're back. We're here. We're live on a Thursday night this week. I like to do the Wednesdays, but Obviously, Spotlight was a fucking monster this week. I think we saw the challenge laid down by Andy Quilden. We had Joe back, so like old times, we had to talk shit for an hour and then eventually get to the pay-per-view review. So thank you to everybody who's given feedback on that. I'll be going through some of the feedback at the end of this thing after I chat to Andy and going through some talking points from the show. But yeah, great feeling to have Joe back in the room, in the booth. Like nothing had changed really. Just like I say, be him and JP chatting shit and talking wrestling, and like obviously, it's been 5 years since we had Joe regularly on the show, half a decade, a quarter of the Miz's career, but almost the entire Stone Cold Steve Austin run in the WWF. I'm pretty sure it is that amount of time. But obviously, like I say, nothing had got by him, and it's just boss to hear his takes on stuff and to get just that little bit of Joe. I don't know how much we're going to be able to talk him back into to doing more stuff, but I'm definitely going to try. I think there's the odd project that is very much up Joe's street that he'll enjoy. So yeah, hopefully everyone enjoyed that, and obviously Joe in Japan. I recorded last week as well with Joe, so you can hear more Joe if you want over on the Patreon, which is always worthwhile. We're Grapple as seen on David Francesco's YouTube channel. We're quite famous these days, so yeah, if you're new to us, like I say, we've got plenty of content like that out there, and like old David was looking into, the Andy Quilden interview is still there and available, and still timely. I think a lot of it. We talked a lot of what was coming up Forbidden Door weekend with the Rev Pro anniversary show, like I'm going to go through with Andy, but we had a lot of interesting chats about booking and such as well that I think does stand up as well. So yeah, check that out if you haven't already. There's also a poll running on this very YouTube stream if you're watching with us live that you can join in with. I was trying to think of a better way to word it. Did Forbidden Door meet your expectations? Was about as good as I could come up with, really. But yeah, whether you were there live, whether you watched at home, I was almost going to ask the very leading question: was it the worst AEW pay-per-view of the year? But it's like pizza, isn't it? A bad pizza's still a great pizza, and that's pretty much what the show was for me. But I'm the low man, being sat at home, so I think everybody who's there is probably going to answer yes, and maybe a couple sat at home I'll answer no. But yeah, I'll go through those answers at the end. I'll go through if anyone's got any super chats they want to send in, please do. I'll go through some of those as we go, and yeah, if you got any questions for me or Andy, throw them in the chat too. And like I say, I'll do some clean up on the end and some feedback and such. But yeah, with all that said, with all the plugs out the way, I will bring the man himself, Andy Ogden, with us here on a Thursday night. He's our official Grapple, I would say, BritRes correspondent at this point. He was also the post-wrestling BritRes correspondent during the last 6 months of BWE when me and Martin clearly couldn't be asked. I shouldn't speak for Martin, when I couldn't be asked talking about BritRes anymore, but that's why we bring you in, Andy. You're the man with the knowledge. Boss to have you here.
3.75, mate. It was every month.
It's
good to be here,
always
mate.
Good to see you. Oh, mate, how was the weekend? I've got to ask that first. We're obviously going to go through some London chat and stuff, and what you got up to. Were you in that very Wetherspoons with everybody else? I don't know if Wetherspoons is an Ogden certified pub these days, but yeah, it looked like a fucking hell of a time.
Yeah, I had to find one way of using my 50p camera vouchers somehow on a London weekend. Yeah, no, I was in that Wetherspoons. I did go up to Kip Sabian. I said, I remember you from BWR in Cleethorpes, and he was like,
did he say, what's that?
He probably did. I would try to lower league him. Think that was your level, mate. And he duly told me to. Well, he didn't. He just said, thanks for your time and what have you.
Moved you on.
Move
Phil Jones saying there, wasn't he the one who caused the problems? He's joining us in the chat there from Tiny Rebel in Cardiff. Said hello to me, and to give Andy his props for organising a killer pub crawl on Saturday before Rev Pro. Was it like that again, mate? Was it Pied Piper stuff? You and Jeff leading the charge?
Yeah. So the Saturday we went to a place called Penge, which is it's like a small, I would say, town village outside the Crystal Palace Arena area, and they've got 2 or 3 like brewery bars there.
Nice.
So we met up with Phil about 11:30 in the morning. I think the first place was opening up at 12, so we just waited outside there.
Oh yeah.
A place with like 20 beers and 50. They had a cider festival on as well. The Free Hounds Brewery, about 15 ciders on, and they were giving away free olives as well in like small bags. So.
To go on your brekkie, perfect. Did you save them for the morning after? Like that's what everyone does with olives now.
I don't know if you've seen some of my brekkie from the LSE Rollsbury. It was like
what was going on there? you'd have like a full English, and then there'd be like a donut on the side. Like, was it just like whatever you can take kind of situation? Like, what was it?
Yeah, I think I don't know if you mentioned this to Joe the other evening about these places. What we're just doing the full English and then have a continental bit to the side. So you get
Right.
past the full English bit, like 2 of this, 3 of this, and then they just leave you to the continental bit. So they were like pain au chocolat, croissants, donuts that were on the first day, and also you can go to like the cheese and meat counter. So just there I was. I like Homer Simpson with 52 slices of American cheese.
In your pockets, walking out the door, you know?
Yeah, but that was like the first 2 days, and third day I was struggling because on the way back from Forbidden Door, back on the night bus because the tubes had gone. Me, Jeff, and Ben got the night bus, and I ended up throwing my guts up upstairs on the.
Are you the reason nobody could get into the Sweet Chin Disco? I've only heard tale of, like, for some reason everyone not getting in, but nobody's spilling the beans on who or why or what the reason was.
Yeah,
wasn't you? You can deny that.
No, it wasn't me. I think with me and Kieran had our pitch with All Furman, and then that was like, right, it's ended. Like the night's ending on that, and we just swanned off. But yeah, there were.
Good shout.
It was just one of those, just tons of people, for like the social. It's ridiculous. People you won't see for years, people you see every week, people you just see on them weekends.
That's it, and everybody together at once. That's the thing. It's like all the different characters from like the universe all joining together. It's that one time, isn't it? Like that's the thing I massively missed. Obviously, I wasn't too bothered about missing the show itself, but it's always the social stuff there. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna pull Sophia up by the way on this comment in the chat here, saying it's be quoting me. It's like pizza, says the man who removes cheese from every pizza. I mean, point taken. I understand, but I've been attacked a lot for that this week, as you will have heard on Spotlight, and you probably saw the picture, Andy, me 42 sausage ketchup that I'm still working through. They're in my fridge. I've got some Thailand-related food and drink hijinks I can mention later, but literally my fridge is just full with them now. I've got them, got loads of paprika, found some extra chili sauces that were with the chips. I feel like I was sent a message. It was like, you're not allowed to have a pizza this dry. I think that's pretty much what the Thai people are trying to tell me at this point. But
yeah,
it was cheaper than the snacks that you were munching on in that arena. At least got that for going for me.
Yeah, at least it was what rate £9. It was £9.80 for a pint. Yeah, I think £16 for a double and Coke. Just ridiculous. But it's not.
What was a single? Like, I was trying to work the maths out on that. Like, is it worth it to just get the double? Is that what people were thinking? We'll get the double.
Yeah, I think it was worth it. It was worth it to get the double, but people say about London prices. I know. My friend Ben, he went to WWE last night at the First Direct Arena in Leeds, and still £9.20 a pint there. It's similar at the MEN and Co-op. So
just standing there.
Yeah, the thing is, they've got you, but for 6 hours, you've no choice but to, use them.
Yeah,
just to give yourself a bit of a rest from it all.
So that's all you can do. Like, everyone has that same idea. I'll listen to Gareth and Matty. It's like, we'll go on the Cokes once the show starts. We'll chill out, and then it's like, we're at an event. Go on, we'll have one, and then you realise what that one costs. It's whether that's worth it or not is the big question. Platt says here, if Forbidden Door is the pizza, Rev Pro is the ketchup packets. Yeah, I think that kind of works. Ewan saying, yeah, Matty, Phil Jones, and him were the ones chatting to Megan Bain, and it was Kip that moved the one. I can only imagine. Like, everyone's version of that story is we did nothing wrong and Kip was being a knobber, but I don't know. I feel like if I was there, I might have had a different take on it. Tom saying, come a long way since getting knocked out by B. Priestley as old Kip Sabian. Yeah, he's doing well in the world, He just wants to have a nice night. He wants to have a chilled night in Wetherspoons.
Yeah, and at the end of the day,
Did they get their ID checked, Don asks? That's a good question. Yeah, I want to know. Everyone got ID, didn't they? People were flashing credit cards and all kinds to get it.
Yeah, there were a few who got ID'd. I didn't get ID because I look old, and now Jeff didn't get ID because he's even older. But them three, Penelope, Kip, and Megan Bain, they were all in like a corner near the the beer garden area, so a bit out of the way. But they just had like groups of people, can I take a photo of this and what have you. But yeah, they're there to have a quiet night, so not some drunkard BritRest fans mithering him about shit.
Hey, don't be slandering Matty calling him a BritRest fan. He's a WB fan of there.
Hey,
WB UK, maybe that would
seen him at that Red Pro show in Wolverhampton. He was bloody punching the air at some of the stuff.
I saw some videos. You're just as much to blame as me and him as well for that famed CCK versus LAX 5-star match. It was me, you, and Matty going wild in the crowd for that. It gets into your skin as much as the other night.
Hugging each other, mate.
Celebrating like a last minute winner had gone in, like we were Grimsby supporters or something like that. Platt saying, is Ulf a listener to the podcast? Did you manage to talk Ulf Herman into any kind of podcast appearances? Can you confirm or deny?
I did ask him. I said, "Oh, we do a podcast about the FWA," and he gave the similar answer to what he did to JP and also to Kieran. What do you think of my daughter's match? Yes, it was good. Yeah, that's all. That's all he wanted. But yeah, no, he was affable. He can come on if he wants. We've got many spaces.
Not doing anything else, is he? He looked well, though. He did. I joked about it on Spotlight. Like, he must have been like, why there's so many people in this room? I've just walked into the wrong pub because everybody in this fucking Wetherspoons knows who I am. Whereas he could have gone to any other pub in London and that wouldn't have happened. It's just that particular group of people led by Ben and you lads.
Yeah, with his daughter, Bolzilla, I remember, I think it was one of her first ever appearances I seen. And it was, I think she said it was like 17 months ago. And I would guess what company it was for in Britain at the time. 1PW.
That's a podcast. You need to get that one going, the 1PW Diaries or something.
Yes, she was like a bodyguard they brought her in for Lizzie Evo as the muscle, and she ended up on like 2 shows, but it died, didn't it, soon enough. When they were saying about what's it, Kip Sabian, he looked like a bad hairdresser. With his hair, it looks terrible.
That was his hair. It was his equivalent of his Christmas best. You know, when you were a kid, and you'd wear your best clothes on Christmas Day. That's what he did for Forbidden Door. There, Don saying here in the chat, Gareth bought a ridiculously priced round at O2, so we'll need to replenish the Grapple Millions. I was the one who bought Forbidden Door this year on pay-per-view because every other fucker was at the show. So I've saved Gareth 15 quid there. So at least there's that. I assume he's watched it on his travels.
You'll probably be surprised to know, Benno, that Forbidden Door was the first AEW pay-per-view this year since last All In that actually paid for, because everything else I've been either watching on Watch Wrestling and what have you.
Don't tell Tony Khan.
Sorry, Tony.
Well, there's not much you can do. You can't. It's otherwise it was either that or sneaking in, wasn't it? You kind of got to pay the money there to get in. What was your experience of it? Like, I know you're not necessarily the big AEW guy, but like you were saying today, you were going to catch up on some highlights of Dynamite this week and such. But yeah, what did you make of the live? How did they compare? That's kind of the main question I'm kind of asking in the YouTube. Like, obviously it wasn't going to be all in weekend. Like, it's not Wembley at the end of the day, and I think the same applied to Rev Pro when we get to talk about that. It's not the Copper Box, so yeah, expectations are slightly different, and the weekend's going to be slightly different. But like, yeah, what was the experience like being there for it? Did they feel at least comparative?
I think it was my first time going to the O2 Arena, and just like looking at it, it's just a huge monolith. Like, it's combining the Printworks in Manchester with like the Co-op. It's just it's like another village you're walking into.
Yeah. It's like a shopping center with an arena, isn't it? Like a lot of in Vegas, a lot of the casinos are like that, where it's like a big casino and there'll be like a fairground and there'll be a cinema, and then you turn a corner, it'll be like this way to the T-Mobile. You're like, what? How? Well, Mandalay Bay, that's the good example. Mandalay Bay is literally as part of like a casino. It's like, what? Like the MGM. It's like somehow there's the building space to have it in there. The O2's a bit like that. It doesn't make sense, does it? When you walk around, you see like say the All Bar One, where me and a certain wrestling promoter once had a throwdown over title belts and other such things, and you see like say the Nando's and the Five Guys and stuff like that, and then there's an arena too. It's just fucking weird.
Yeah. The I would say as well that I can tell with the Co-op Live that they've based their seating how it's seated off the O2, but the Co-op feels more like an intimate venue. To say it's like the largest arena in the UK at 23,000, the O2 feels more vaster. But where I was sat originally was block 407, so I was one away from Gareth and Matty and So we were sat up
Did you
there.
all find each other easy enough? Because I saw a lot of that going on in group chats. Like, oh, we're in 401, we're in 418. Like, there's still fucking 18,000 people there, you know? As Don Bell says here, yeah, going for a quiet drink at the Weatherspoons if you're a wrestler, when 18,000 people are trying to escape. Still a lot of fucking people. It's not 70,000, but it's still a lot.
Yeah, so I think people could recognise where I were because it was the pre-show and I were doing all the clapping. So I was sort of like
Martin
Mr.
said that. He said he could hear you.
Yeah, I was sort of like Mr. Clap for about 4 matches.
Don't want that reputation, mate.
I don't.
That means something different here in Bangkok.
We moved. What were it? We'd seen the Edge and Christian match at the start, did the whole sing along, and then got a message off Ben saying, "Oh, there's two seats in. I think it was 107 or 112." So we scuttled downstairs. Actual seats face on with the ring, and it was funny. The 2 seats what we got. Woman next to us, she called Becky, lovely person, and she said, "Oh, these were supposed to be for what was she called? Lisa Gifford, who was Jane Childs off the FWA. She had 2 comps there through because she does writing for F4W Online."
Right. Yeah, that's where I know the name. She's Scouser, isn't she? I've seen her like do stuff with Vinny.
Yeah, and she's a writer. She's like a writer for EastEnders as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe that's how she got in with Brian and Vinny.
Yeah. So we got like seats there, and like some of our mates who we know were in.
Should have called Joe over. He'd have been in her ear asking for all the inside scoops on EastEnders and what's going on, what the future seasons are going, and what's the upcoming stories and all that.
Yeah, so no, the view from down there was like excellent. There was I mentioned on my show, and there was one idiot behind us who was having a moan because he said, "Oh, you were leaning back in your seat too much." I'm like, do one.
That's not airplane, is it?
No, is it? Now you try and make yourself comfortable. I'm a big lad. I need leg room. But I think as an overall experience, it was obviously more intimate than Wembley, but
yeah,
I would have ranked them. I'd probably put it second to last year's, only because I don't
above the first year then. Because I think for all the problems the first year had, it was spectacle, wasn't it? It was hearing about CM Punk going backstage. It was Punk and Joe, and Sting's big entrance and stuff like that. Like I think that still carries it now. The first one.
Yeah, the first one is more, like you said, the spectacle when you're going down Wembley Park Station and just seeing Wembley in the distance. That was my first ever time going up Wembley Way, because the only other time I went, we was on a coach watching Rochdale, and we got parked at the back of the stadium, so we didn't.
That happened to me too.
Didn't see that, so just seeing the spectacle and 80,000 people and. Yeah, I think when you look back at that, it was an event, but the second time it was much more enjoyable. It had the Danielson Swerve match, which
the show was way better, the build was way better, everything was better last year, wasn't it? And again, it's 2 all-ins, isn't it? We're comparing with a Forbidden Door, because that's the thing. Like somebody just said in the chat there, I think it was Platt, saying like it's at the end of the day, this was a pay-per-view rather than your spectacle or Wembley type thing. Because I was at Forbidden Door last year in Toronto, and pretty not the best AEW show last year. I think Naito dogging it against him. Well, not dogging it, but only been able to go so well against Moxley. A couple of really good matches on there as well, but it felt like a typical kind of AEW pay-per-view. That's what this seemed like from home. Again, maybe me with all my distance removed from it, like I've got a different take on it, but it felt like a weaker AEW pay-per-view to me. It felt like just that notch below. And again, that's Forbidden Door. It's non-canon. It's and the stuff that is in canon is kind of like, it wasn't that exciting to me, like the Swerve and the Carter stuff I've gone over on a few times. MJF and Hangman had moments, but then as far as delivering on the night, you can be split on that as well. Yeah, I think that, but maybe it's just like I say, Dynamite this week maybe a little bit more excited for what's going on going forward. But I had that attitude going in, so it could just be a me thing.
I think at least 10 years ago though, you'd kill for actual canon pay-per-views over here.
That's true, that, yeah.
But like WWE's coming over very often now, doing pay-per-views, and AEW's been doing them last couple of years now. One thing I would like to mention, and I brought this up to Matty in the pub, you know, where they say highest attended thing at the O2. I kept driving that home to him. He said, mate, it's not the highest paid gate in O2 history. It's like he wasn't swaying from that, mate.
He'd pay more for his ticket for a WWE show just for the bragging rights to go. I mean, I don't know about that, because you could take that further, couldn't you? You could be like, well, it did more pay-per-view buys. It made more money, the show, because like AEW still do pay-per-views and WWE don't, which is the same as AEW charge so much for the tickets and WWE don't, you know? It's not always going to be apples and oranges, but he's got to take his little wins where he can get them, hasn't he? I'm sure he was getting grief from the lads he was sat with.
Man, if I were a bad faith account on Twitter over the last couple of days, I'd say, well, WWE had more black tarpaulin than AEW in the past week.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's like the Hill Dickinson with Everton. Now we've got a lot of blue tarpaulin going up. I think a lot of that's like Gareth was saying that yesterday, but I think a lot of it's like the the VIP tickets they're trying to sell and stuff like that through the travel companies, and that not shifting. You can always pick holes, you know. But if the company says it's a sellout, who are we to deny them? If Tony Khan wants to invent a couple of extra 1,000 people that no one can figure out how they could possibly even be in the building, I guess we're just going to let him, because it's still a record, isn't it? It still counts. You and saying, Matty tried to tell him the Liverpool house show was better than Forbidden. He's kept that to himself. He did not mention that on Grapple Lads. I wonder if he'll say that this. I've got him on Spotlight next week when we do Clash in Paris, so maybe we could get his thoughts on it there as well. But I'd say the AEW show was better, and that's what matters, isn't it? It's the quality of the show.
I think as in terms of the matches, I enjoyed Hangman and MJF. I don't mind all like the bells and whistles that go with the finish, and it flew as a match. I think it was about 25 minutes, half an hour, and
I could imagine that being fun live. Like I know JP and Joe weren't so into like those last 5 minutes. Like I wasn't watching at home, but I could also picture it live, like loving the seesaw nature of it and the Daft Price stuff, and just kind of being pulled into it and not really leaving you have to leave the logic side of your brain, I think, behind. But that's easy to do, isn't it? When you're swept up in the moment live, that's the real stuff.
Yeah, I think. Would I say the result were in doubt? Probably, maybe yes, because you never really know. Because Hangman's title reign last time was pretty short, and you just got to hope that they don't treat his title run this time as like secondary to someone else's feud going on, which might do with the next pay-per-view, because they're doing. I think they'll be doing Moxley and Darby Allin, won't they?
Yeah, and he's doing like a Friends thing with Kenny right now, isn't he? Which kind of tells you he might be going in a side direction. Him and Kenny versus the Bucks, maybe. So Joe was obviously asking for that, but Kenny and Kota versus the Bucks, maybe. Hopefully he'll do something a bit more main event.
Yeah, the cage match as well, a spectacle to watch, and I think this.
I can imagine there'll be loads of fun to watch live, like loads.
Yeah, they do them sort of multi-man. Scraps very well. AEW, I would say, is a live experience. For me, there wasn't. I think the only fluff there may have been was Okada and Strickland, but Okada, I feel he's, for me, just sleepwalking. He can sleepwalk to his 3-star match, do the bare minimum. I don't see it being.
It's kind of what he does these days, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't see it being like Swerve's fault. It's more like Okada's fault. For me, I can't think.
Put some questions on it later. I'll go into.
Yeah, but I can't think of like an Okada, top tier match that he's had in AEW currently.
He's got his upper ceiling, hasn't he? And that's what that match always had to me. But yeah, got an interesting question on that, whether Swerve is flattered to deceiving his AEW career or not. We can go into later. But yeah, we'll get into like the other shows going on over the weekend. Unless, did you have any of that like highlights or lowlights of Forbidden Door? I'll throw that in the chat. Was it the worst of the London shows? Maybe that's a better way of asking the question when I put the poll in. But like, I think if that's true, it's no shame, is it, when you're coming off two Wembley shows? And I think for a lot of people, it looks like in the chat it was like in the middle as far as like experiences go.
Yeah, I thought the second match, Cal Fletcher and Aromo, that was one that impressed me.
Surprisingly so, yeah. I wasn't expecting that at all.
Yeah, I've not been the biggest Cal Fletcher fan in recent time, but you know, you watch I think seeing him up live now, you can tell why he's probably one of those next for the top tier, because he pulled it out of the fire against Hiromu, who I think's probably about 4 or 5 years past his best, or when he should have been in the heavyweight division of New Japan. Well, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the freeway tag, even though you knew the Earth Syndicate were doing the light bulb duty. I thought that was a lot of fun, apart from the the duff ending to that. But
a lot of people said that they really enjoyed the match. It was just the ending, and all we're all talking about is the ending, isn't it, in the booking? And that's kind of where it gets lost, isn't it? You in there saying you'd have it the same as Andy, second after all in last year, as far as the show goes. Really enjoyed it as a live experience. That seems to be generally the take. Tom saying in the chat, you really liked Takada Swerve, just needed 3 to 5 more minutes of it. It felt abrupt, maybe a little bit by design, but I could definitely see that take as well. That was my thing overall on the show, not to revisit too much from Spotlight, but it was just nothing really exceeded my expectations, and everything was just pretty good. You know, there was nothing maybe outside of the main event, which I think I would have enjoyed even more if I was there live, that I'd go that high rating on that you usually go on an AEW show, and we take it for granted, don't we? And like I always say, not all not all TV shows run 365 days a year, so you can't just be as hot as anything for 365 days a year either, can you? You kind of need these little periods and these little side shows, and that's kind of what it felt like for me as well. But unless you've got more on that, Andy, what was your reason we got you on? Wants to know what your else got up to that weekend as well. I believe you didn't go to Rev Pro on the Friday. Did you go to
no?
Where were you actually? I don't even know where you were. But a pub, a bar
yes. So I got my hand slapped by Andy Q, didn't I? For saying I was going elsewhere apart from Rev Pro, just because I wanted a bit of variety. We went to Riot Cabaret at the Clapham Grand.
Okay.
It's a lovely venue from downstairs. Not much of a view upstairs unless you're in the front of the balcony. It's quite a steep balcony, but you can only see as far as the front the front of the ring before it's just totally blocked off. But we went there. We did go for a beer, surprisingly, before, and we went to Battersea Power Station, which it's a new area what's been built up. My word.
By the big shopping centre, isn't it? I've only done the shopping centre, but it's like you hear that and you're like, okay, what? Because you see it on the tube line, don't you? It's one of the stops, and it's like Battersea Power Station. What's that? But it's not a power station. It's a it's a big fucking shopping complex, isn't it? With bars and all kinds on it now.
Yeah, some really posh bars and eateries there. Not for the kind of for me, but we found the Battersea Brewery. That were a nice one, and found another one just down the road from there. But it's just like a Trafford Centre. Just you go around with your head up in the air, like, wow, this is big. But Clapham
Cabaret got your money.
Yeah, right, Cabaret. We went last year, so it's just like a once a year thing. We'd never see it before. It was, I think, it does exactly what it says on the tin. It's a variety show, so you had your good wrestling matches on there. I think it was Nino Bryant and Jordan Breaks. Jordan Breaks, he should be in quite a few places. He just looks so impressive. He's very much in the Zack Sabre Jr. mold of technical wrestling, but him and
he did seem to disappear for a while, didn't he? I felt like 5 years ago or so, we were all, or maybe 4 years ago, all kind of raving about him as the next coming.
Yeah, Riptide, and then he won that cruiserweight title in Rev Pro, and then it was pants down for the Mexican who they had to bring in and took the title off him. But I think he deserves another crack at Rev Pro, certainly. Who else do they have on? Spike Trevay and Derice, that was, pretty good. I know some people were moaning about the Nina Samuels and Cara Noir match where they had Nina Samuels had Cassius in. It weren't a cage, it was more like, where the shift stuff in Tesco's, like one of them trolleys. So Cassius we were in one.
All the time. And just pile them on top of each other. Yeah.
Works. And Cara Noir's misses were in the other pod. It was fun for what it was. Some people's like, oh, it's a bit convoluted. Why you keep it? They should be in the cage, and then 2 minutes in, they're all piling
Bit
out.
like the penalty box match they do in TNA, bit like that.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Scotty Tuotti and his son turned up. They were a surprise.
I picked the wrong name, didn't I, on the Andy Cool interview when I was just trying to think of like an ex-WWE guy who would be like, would you book like this person, Scotty Otty? He's fucking over. He wasn't,
Yeah.
Rhino wasn't over. That was a point that we had to retract from our weekend show where I think JP did the Anchorman thing and just read out the words that were in front of him. I think it was supposed to say Rio, maybe.
It was, yeah.
instead of Rhino. But Scotty Otty actually being over is quite funny. He'd still get a booking, Obviously, yeah, he's an agent, isn't he, for AEW? So him and his son did some dark stuff for them too.
So he come with his son Keegan, and they had it was like a 10-12 minute tag match, but
I'm guessing his son's no good. He doesn't look very good.
No, he just does his dad's manoeuvres. But they're just waiting for Scotty to do the worm and what have you. But as soon as his music here, it was like boom, everyone popped. And
what music did they use for him in the high jokes? He did the dark match there as well. But like he came out and it's like, well, they can't call him Scotty Hotty. I guess he probably just had some generic music. But people clearly got onto it because, from live reports, him and Billy Gunn were two of the most famous, two most over people on that AEW tape. But I think that's just part of like the attitude there, especially the early 2000s Channel 4 run, having a hangover with our generation. I think that's probably exactly what that is.
Yeah.
There's WWE thing, he did use it. Oh, interesting. Maybe it's rights free. Maybe I could use that for a spotlight intro. Okay, there you go. Plat's give me an idea. Thanks, Plat.
So the halftime falters were with him at ringside. 30 quid he were charging it, like queue out the door again, like Thunder Rosa last year. And I think it made a delay to the second half because the second half didn't start till 10 o'clock.
Fuck.
And so I think they had like a slam ball match with TK and Mambo versus Brendan White and Charlie Sterling. And the premise of the match is like two halves of 5 minutes, and the team who gets the most slams wins. It's a good concept.
Yeah, the weekend them lads, didn't he? Had some ups and downs. Christ.
Oh, they did. I'll tell more in the Red Pro part, but that were okay. Rio and Harley Hudson, that was for a 10-minute match. It was fine, but it was just getting on at night. Just like, just hurry up. Main event now. Crowd a bit flagging. And main event was Mark Andrews and Nico Angelo, which very similar to Hangman and MJF. A lot of bells and whistles, run-ins. Who's it come out? Mr. Not the Way, Pete Dunne.
In his trackies.
Doing a interference. It's like it's 10 years ago again. Pete Dunne running in on Mark Andrews.
Yeah. How the mighty have fallen.
Yeah, but it was nice.
He's in a weird spot, isn't he?
Yeah, nice. He got he got at least a reaction, but God knows where they're going with it. But it was like I say, it finished at about 11 o'clock. Sainsbury's, even though it said 6 a.m. till 12 a.m. outside, closed at 11. So there was nothing to eat until we got back near our hotel, Angel. We found a pub there, the Peacock, and went in, pint of something, £7 odd. Went to sit down, scuttling across the floor, 2 mice.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. So there were
sounds like we live in here, mate.
Yeah, so there were a couple there. It's like, are you sure you've seen that? So we got onto the bar staff. I said, 2 mice there. So they were there trying to I said it was like Dastardly and Muttley trying to catch the pigeon.
I had some mice in my hut. I remember when Gareth was on air and like a rat ran across his kitchen. He fucking shit himself. Liverpool's got a problem for such things, but like I had that problem with my old flat. It drives you completely up the wall. Over here, it's much worse. Like literally, I was gonna actually mention it at the end. Like I feel I've got a sore throat because I was spraying like insect repellent all last night, and it was the middle of the night because I found a cockroach in my apartment, and I was very close to I'm in an Airbnb. I was very close to extending the stay an extra month, and now I'm like a bit 50-50 on it. But it's like a tiny one, like a little baby one. It was already dying, so I'm pretty sure. I noticed there's a bit of a gap under my door, so maybe it's come from outside. So I managed to spray the spray, kill it, almost kill my own throat, And then I went outside. There was an even bigger one outside, looking like it was about to come in my door. Like it was literally going to knock on the door and come in. And you think that's bad enough? Literally, I was going to tell the story anyway. But tonight, right before we went live, I went to the 7-Eleven over the road, and there was a fucking. And I haven't seen many, to be honest, or as many as you'd think out here. There was a cockroach in the 7-Eleven that if I told you it was a lobster, you'd believe me. Like it could have literally, you know, the way the 7-Eleven doors like open like automatically when you walk in. If I hadn't walked up to that door, I think that thing was so big it fucking would have opened it on its own. Like I'm not even that squeamish on them anymore. But Jesus Christ, it's maybe paranoid now. Anyway, I'm looking around just in case I see anything moving or anything happen. I hear any slight sound. I'm like, fuck, is there another one coming? Just life out here, though. You got to get used to it. Like, you got to get used to the mice in the UK.
It sounds like a character that'd be fit for Chikara with like hermit crab and what have you.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't do it. Yeah, it would have been right up their street as a gimmick. Maybe Setup will do it when I go see them later in the month. But yeah, comes with the territory of living out here. I've got a little bit braver with it. But yeah, you don't want to see mice in your pub, mate. That's not the it's probably not where you want to see them. Or in your 7-Eleven.
But then again, I think it might be to do with like the bin situation or the rubbish situation in London because it's just bin bags outside.
Yeah, like old school 90s, isn't it? Remember that when it used to be, I don't know if Greater Manchester changed, but Liverpool used to be like, and it's the same in Bootle still, black bin bags everywhere, and then everybody got the big purple bins, or depending on where you are in the Merseyside area, maybe a brown bin, maybe a blue bin, same thing.
We're quite advanced here in Rochdale. We've got about 4 bins, so
rules about what goes in each bin as well. That's always important.
Oh yeah, I've had a couple of yellow tags off the bin men.
They're strict, aren't they? But I believe Belfast, Steph was saying it just as bad as well. But London lagging behind. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah.
But there we go. Sorry, sidebar. Yeah. But a good night out anyway. The pub was
it were excellent, right, Cabaret? I think our Jeff said like next year probably maybe give it a miss. Even though it were okay, he said, is it?
How often do they even run? Obviously, they always run these big weekends, but like, is it a regular? Because it feels like one of those things that's like it's almost lucha-like in that like people are just going to go for the night out, aren't they? Even the name makes it sound like it's something that like your mum might go like on a night out or something, you know?
Yeah, so it's like I think it's like 6 times a year they run on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. I would say it's a very similar crowd to what Tuesday night Graps were up in the north.
Oh,
like that sort of. I think they're going for that sort of, type of show, a bit of comedy. Just like I said, variety with it. But they draw pretty well for what they do. They sold out the one on Friday. Never, I know Red Pro's on, but still sold it out.
Yeah. Variety show, isn't it? Literally different audience, different ticket, and that makes sense. So that's what you did on the Friday. Did you go to anything else on the Saturday before you went to Red Pro?
I wasn't one of those who went to Bexley Heath like Ben Corrigan to watch UKW in a shopping centre. That's
like when I've been to New Jersey, like GCW will run in like the fucking shopping centre somewhere, or there'll be something like that going on. That's a proper stuff, though. I'm surprised. I could see even Jeff stood there with a couple of cans from Home and Bargain or something like that, watching it.
Yeah, although like PCW outside in the Flag Market and. When they get about 6,000 people and you see the local piss heads behind you on the bottles of White Lightning, probably not for me now. But Saturday, I think I said earlier, we went on a bit of a beer crawl around Penge, which is lovely. Like I said, lovely area. I know people say about Crystal Palace, it's an arse to get to. I didn't find it much of an arse. Once go to London Bridge and then it's go from there.
Was this your first time?
First ever time,
I've only ever been once. It's a bit like the first time I went to York Hall. I remember a couple of people going, "Oh, you've never been to York Hall?" It's like, because I'm from the north of England. Like, I didn't go to FWA. Sorry, I've never had a reason to go to York Hall until like probably like 2016, 2017, during like obviously the previous boom. Crystal Palace is another one. It's a name obviously very familiar to you from some of the podcast that you're doing, specifically beginning with you. But like that was like for me, it was like. It sounded like something that existed in the 90s, and until Rev Pro started running it again, I just assumed it had been demolished. I didn't think it was a really thing that existed. We ended up going to it was Osprey Oku, wasn't it? The one with Andy Quilden in the crowd. I went to, and we stayed up the road, stayed in Croydon, stayed over the road from where Peep Show was shot. So I had a good cultural visit. So that was fun. Enjoyed all of that. And then not the best venue in my opinion, but like people were asking that, like, what do you make of it? Like, do you think would you think of it as an area? Would you go back to the venue where you've been asked in the questions on Discord?
Right. So as an area, I probably would do because like the drinking areas, it were only about 10-15 minute walk, and it wasn't too bad. As
Right.
the venue itself, probably, I don't know. It's a tough one. If it was on a cold day, maybe, but because it was like the middle of August, it was baking in there, absolutely baking. And when you've got all the black t-shirts, it's going home in it. So I think that one of the first things is, well, the toilet situation. Like men's toilets, it's a predominantly male audience. Go downstairs, like two cubicles. That's, to service a thousand and some people, and you're literally thinking, I'm winking at the shower here. Is there great there to have a piss in? To just like needs
Yeah.
must. But it was ridiculous down there, and they
It's bad.
eventually opened up another toilet later in the show, but by the time that happened, it's just like, yeah, you've done yourself in. As in terms of the amenities with the beer, there was one with one tap, with one like keg tap, posh lager, and then there was another one which was like a can bar,
Right.
like,
Which is always smart to have, isn't it, on a big show like that, especially on a hot day?
yeah, for your rum and cokes and what have you. I'm trying, and then once he'd run out of the lager off the lager tap, they had to go and get a load of cans in. I said to one at Bouncers, have they just been to off license? It felt like Fludder sending his missus to the local Polish shop for 20 cans at the PCW Academy.
Profit's profit, eh? They're
Yeah,
never
no,
prepared though, are they? It's like the York Hall problem that sounds like it's been mostly fixed, but it was always like they were surprised wrestling fans drank ale. And like Crystal Palace, like for anyone who hasn't been there, like you said then, like it really is like going to your local leisure centre. Like someone will be playing badminton in the corner. There's a little old one of those, those leisure centres where the gym hasn't been updated in 20 years. It's one
yeah.
of those, isn't it? And that's the problem with the toilets. Like the toilets are just the ones that are there for the people using the leisure centre. For the people, like you literally have to go. When the time I went, I'm assuming from your story, the people's stories that I've heard, they were closed off. But like you'd literally go through the changing rooms to find another loo, and like that'd be blocked, and then you go all the way to the other part of the basement part, and you'd find like another like sneaky toilet that's hidden in like another set of changing rooms. Like nothing public wise though, nothing other than that one single one you mentioned there that ends up getting blocked up and filled up for you to use. It's, you understand why they run it, absolutely, but these things are true, so aren't they?
Yeah, I think before the show, it was I sort of likened it to when someone mentioned on the Friday night, oh, there were lack of beer and that, mentioned about the Brixton Community Centre where they had Ishii and Suzuki, and
Gareth always talks about that, yeah.
people couldn't see the actual ring for the mobile bar they had round the corners, like no one could see out and just taking time up. But I think as an actual venue for watching wrestling is the good part. I enjoyed it. It makes it feel intimate at least. I know it's all
Where
like
were you? Were you sat or did you stand on like that balcony bit where the bar is?
So I was sat to the like left hand side of the entranceway. I was sat just behind where Ewan were, but that was on them sort of like seats with no backs to them. So
I see.
And then we noticed two seats next to Ben, so we just kept watching them, and then moved over to one facing with the ring, and it's just like
on. It seemed like a few people needed those.
Well, that were the Friday that I'd say with the so these ones, it was just like a temporary stand sort of thing, so it was all right, but the from the Friday when it was like Costa del Crystal Palace with all the sun coming in on the live stream, because I've seen a couple of matches while watching Red Pro on demand, and noticed like there was loads of shadows on the wrestlers. So on the Saturday, what they'd done, they borrowed some black tarpaulin from either AEW or WWE and put him over the curtain so he'd block out the
Smart.
like the lighting. So that was a good part that learned from the mistakes from that end on the from the Friday night. But I think in general, the amenities shit, the actual watching the wrestling good.
This is the thing that matters, and that's the thing that's holding on for. And I don't think Rev Pro are blind to it. Like, if we'd have had time, we already went 3.5 hours. It was on the list of questions to ask about it, but we would have asked it and we know the answer. The answer would be there's only so many buildings of a certain size in London and for a certain price. And obviously they weren't going to run the Copper Box when AEW weren't running Wembley, because it is like that's much smaller weekend, and it's kind of what you get. But even they seem frustrated. You could like Golden did a tweet, didn't he, about how next time he'll install the air conditioning himself, because I bet the workers were sweating. You could see it in all the photos. The people were sweating. But as long as they can get the match in the ring, like say we saw a 5-star match there, Oku and Ospreay, we were moaning about the arena the whole night, moaning about going to the toilet, not necessarily moaning at the bar. It wasn't so bad when I went a couple of years ago, but once the match happens, that's all you're talking about at the end, isn't it? And that's the balancing act, isn't it? I think there comes a point where maybe it might need to be left in the past, but yeah, it's whether the positives outweigh the negatives, isn't it? They both exist, but yeah, that's the calculation if you're a promoter.
Yeah, but I mean, like back in the day, I think you mentioned about the Altrincham venue that they'd ran, and the one at the Alex Shane versus in Coventry Sky Dome.
Oh yeah, his favourite, his White Whale.
His White Whale, yeah. And so they could use venues like that, and they'd probably still fill them on a weekend like this. But fingers crossed it is something like the Copper Box for next year, or it might even be that Porchester Hall, all dependent.
That looks good. I mean, obviously they're running there for the first time, aren't they? Is it this weekend coming up?
Yeah.
So there's that to look forward to. I mean, like say the wrestling wise, like what were like the highlights for you? Chucking a couple from night one as well, if you like. I did watch most of the night one stream myself too, and I watched all of night two on streaming, but yeah, despite all that, obviously, like I say, it looked like there were some cracking matches. A couple went a bit long in that second half of the second night. But as a podcaster who likes to go long, I can't complain too loudly. There was a lot it felt like a mixed bag from following along on the Discord, or at least as far as what the people in the building were saying, their reactions were to stuff. But yeah, still a lot of good stuff there too.
Yeah, I thought the top three matches are the ones you'd take out of it, definitely. Zach and Zolzaya, that was, excellent, 20-odd minutes. Oku and Slater, another level. But with that match, I enjoyed the stuff on the outside with Liam Slater and Cameron Kai and Amira, where it was like Oku was in his own maneuver in like a half crab or some submission, and Amira tries to push the ropes, and they're just like ushering her away. I thought they all played the roles really well, and Cameron Kai's been involved with Oku in bits of storyline, and so it was probably as good as the Doncaster match what they had a few months ago. Main event was like a different type of match. It was just a brawl around the Hall of Crystal Palace.
RKJ special.
Yeah, it is a night family special, isn't it? I thought the crowd got into that match, and Charles Samuels played his part really well. Would I say I was surprised at the result? I think it's more because of the Ricky Knight Jr. going to Noah thing. It's like,
yeah. Until JP said that on our preview, I was just assuming RKJ went over and it was going to be Char's swan song. But whether that plan changed or not, I don't really know. Generally got no insight on it. But either way, even if Char really is going to be done very soon, you can get a bit of a summer of Char out of him, can't you? You can get a few of those, old dog going out on a sword type matches. Like, it's not a bad plan B, but it's also not a bad plan A. I know Joe was massively up for that.
Yeah, I think Ewan said there as well. Cowboy Way versus Mills and Joshua. That was probably the other main highlight out of the matches. Mills and Joshua, they both got beat by the New Japan lads, as per ever on the Friday.
The tradition lives. It is what it is.
It does, doesn't it? But
I was moaning in the Colt Cabana days in Rev Pro, so we're weathered in such conversations. But at a point, you've kind of just got to accept it is what it is, haven't you?
Yeah. I know sometimes they've got to at least get the win, but it's just a nagging thing with me and Red Pro. With you
A
try
little
to
bit
build,
more give and take, maybe. Just a little
yeah,
bit.
you try to build like Mills, Joshua. You've got to build people for
Of course.
your next challenges and what have you. And I know they can go toe to toe with like Ishii and Uemura and that, but you've got to show that he's above Ishii. Well, the thing was like Luke Jacobs, he went toe to toe with Ishii, but
Of course.
he had 3 matches. Ishii won 2 of them. Luke won 1, so it's still New Japan man.
Yeah, and now he's back doing tags with Ethan, isn't he? That feels a little bit like a missed opportunity now. Is that too harsh?
Yeah, probably so. But he's done the Lord's work in progress in that title reign. It's probably been much better than what his Red Pro one were. But it's funny with Ishii, like he loses all the time in AEW and that. Yeah. But then you see him in Red Pro, never loses.
Which means it means more when he loses. It's just the problem is you can throw Collision on and he's dropping to Daniel Garcia or somebody, isn't he? Like that's the problem.
Yeah, but like next challenges for Shah, you're racking your brain to like who is
maybe.
I think hopefully they've got to go that route, but they've been holding off for quite a while with that.
Leon maybe, would that be interesting? You'd have to do babyface, obviously, but
it'd have to be it'd be a quick title run if Leon won it, but you don't know with his TNA commitments, do you? It's
it's a tough one, that one, isn't it?
It's a tough one, and then you sort of left with like TK and Mambo. Please no.
Oh, that was terrible, wasn't it? It was so. I'm not even having a go because of personal issues.
No,
it was so bad. It was so bad, and it was coming right before like that big 3-match streak that was on that second day's show. Like Zozoya, Zach, everyone's so excited for it, and it was like somebody popped the balloon like right before. It was like, people got themselves up in the end, but like even on the entrances, you could kind of feel the energy had gone a little bit in the room, and it certainly felt like that watching it live from them sitting through bad character work and then an even worse finish and a crew team that I just don't think anybody was paying to see. Like they got crickets when they came out. Like it was embarrassing.
Yeah, well, I was saying it was like the Savio Vega pot, weren't it? At No Way Out,
it really was
just crickets, but. The way
there's a point where Leo was over, wasn't there? Where like Leo Rush coming over there was like he was a big deal as a singles guy.
Yeah. No, he had a sort of good couple of show run on Red Pro. Action Andretti, it's not happening, mate. Give it up.
No, never happened.
But the way they'd set up the storyline with that was more of a Trent Seven thing, and you're thinking, well, if they're not bringing Tyler Bate in. They've got to probably use Clint Margera, just for a pop. And you know what? If it was Clint Margera as like a second choice, people would still pop. It's like, oh, it's Clint Margera. Nice to see him. Brother tag team. But and then you bring out them two. And then as Platt says, don't go 12 minutes with a finish like that. It was just backward. And you know what? I don't mind TK and Mambo when they're actually doing, good matches and which they have it in them, but
of course
this stuff, absolute toilet.
Well, did it hate your enjoyment then of Zach and Zozoya? What did you make of that as a match? How was that live?
No, I think that one and obviously the last two, just like I think everyone was like engaged with it, and keeping a crowd engaged for 25 minutes of a match. It's sometimes it's hard work, but they did really well out of it.
Really good stuff. Any other highlights or lowlights then of the other day? What was the plan after Rev Pro? If you got nothing else on the show, did you stick around? Did you try Croydon's finest, Crystal Palace's finest? Did we get any night out shenanigans there?
No, so we walked back through a park. I remember seeing Platt and Mark Buckledy and a couple of others.
Justin Lagers make Mark Baldy.
Yeah, and
I believe he was in the crowd, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Well, people believe he was in the crowd anyway. A man of his stature after Lager had appeared, which by the way was brilliant. All the Hall of Fame stuff we said on Spotlight was so classy over the weekend that they did. But cool for people to get to see Lager both in mask and out of mask.
Yeah, I would say that, like the last bit we went to a place called the Alexandria, which was like a bit like a restaurant slash bar. Had a couple of pints in there, a couple of Stellas, and then went back to the hotel. It was easy enough getting back from there. Still about 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. So yeah, no, glad to get back. And then obviously with the all day round. Bermondsey, which was the meeting point on the Sunday.
Beer mile's brilliant, isn't it?
First time I've ever been to the beer mile, and yeah, you just stop there all the time. I know we ended up in the Ansbach and Up Day for about 2.5, 3 hours, but it was good before, and we went to a Colonel Brewery, have a bar there. Went in there with Liam, Simon, and Don. Good to see them. Liam and Don. I said to him, like, when we used to go York Hall, always used to be us three and Jeff going to the Boxcar Brewery, just like for an hour or two on our own, and it was like the crew were back together of Red Bull on Sunday. So it was good meeting everyone. Simon as well, lovely chap.
Oh yeah, great man. When he can get to the arena, he's always a great crack to run into.
Yeah,
but even he didn't have any transport issues all weekend, so I'll take that for something.
No, I found it funny on Saturday because we met up in a brewery and Simon walks in. All right, I'll get you a pint. And he weren't even going to the show. He just come for a couple of pints and went. I think he went to cinema, but yeah, no, it was cracking to see him, and just everyone else just takes it out on you nowadays. When you're past the age of 40, mate, like 3-day benders, and you cripple for the next 3 days.
And it's literally a day bender when the Ogdens are involved. It includes the morning, it includes breakfast, it includes lunch, and it even includes a relatively late one. But that's what you've learned. I've noticed that as you've both got a bit older. You know when to cut it off. I've been there with you in like Newcastle, for example. It was like, right, it's 9 here. We could stay out for more, but there's more ale to be had to tomorrow, and you're off. You're smart like that. You always see the end coming.
Afternoon drinkers, mate. Now, no nightclubs are pot worlds for me.
Well, I had some questions here from Dave on the Patreon. Said, what are your match wise and show wise? What were the best of the weekend? What was the show of the weekend? I suppose, obviously, from what you said there, probably AEW over Rev Pro. With this match of the weekend a little bit more of a controversial one for you.
I'd probably say Rev Pro, to be honest. Rev Pro night 2. I think four big matches there. What I was popping for. So I think that
get a show with that on it. But that oversees anything else. It outweighs anything else, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I think it's been like that for the last couple of years now. The Copper Box shows, like the first one and the second one, were excellent. So you got to commend Rev Pro on that. I know people. We can all moan about the booking at times, but it wouldn't be wrestling discourse if it weren't people moaning.
Discourse or Discord?
Discourse.
You're Jeff as the policeman of the Discord. He'll if the kids are getting too negative, he'll weigh in. He'll put everyone in the place, as he's done with me in real life more than once. So we'll take it.
But yeah, matches of the weekend, I'd probably say, the top 3 from Rev Pro. And from AEW, I'd say MJF and Hangman. I enjoyed that. And main event, the steel cage match. I don't think there's anything I'd go, 5 stars, bells and whistles. But they didn't outlast. There's like four stars and above for quite a lot of stuff. And maybe.
I don't know if this is a question for me or you. Do you know the whereabouts of Queen Aminata's handbag? Nothing to do with us. I believe she had a bad weekend in London. I think she's gotten home now, though. I think they got her an emergency passport and she's headed back. So it wasn't.
I think it's in Session Moff Martina lost the passport as well.
You know what? I saw that too. Yeah, I don't know, something in the water there. If there's somebody going backstage at wrestling shows and nicking belongings, but never nice to see that, is it?
No.
But paints London in a bad light. Poor Queen Aminata. Yeah, there we go. Well, I was going to say if there's any other highlights. Somebody wanted me to ask you what your thoughts are on just getting back into the AEW side of it. Any thoughts on Nathan Cruz being signed up as an agent at AEW now? They'll do it. I laughed at like posts right up with that, but it said they worded it something like indie wrestling stalwart, and Nathan Greer was like, he'd hate that. Like the last thing he wants to be known as in India. All of those guys who work like those Alex Shane type shows, like they all want to. No, we had contracts. They were real contracts. They were NGW contracts, but they were We were contracted wrestlers. You get that. The pros aren't they? They call it the job. All of that. But I mean, I always liked him when he was in Progress. Like I always liked that. Like. You didn't want a company full of guys like that because that would literally be all-star, or it would be like an NGW, like professional to a fault type guys who will give you the 2.75 star match and a load of booyah spots and stuff and tell you the better. But like, you want one guy like that on your roster. You want one guy like that can get you some heat, who can do that more, traditional, crowd work, professional, almost WWE like, type work. And he was that, like in the Origin run and all that stuff. I always thought he should have got more out of him.
Yeah, I think I've seen him work as both babyface and heel, and he was, very, very good at it. I know it. I think he called himself the professional Nathan Cruz at one time, but he'll give some backstage to the running of it. I know he's friends with one of the Bolden Hair from FTR, so
he is, Hair, I think it is.
Yeah,
you always hear that. Yeah, because I spoke to him once. I had him for we did. Oh, what was it? I can't remember who we did for one of the FSM ones to watches. It might have been Lucas Steele, and I went. Oh yeah, he was great. He was dead nice. Gave me a few quotes and stuff like that. We don't really talk about Lucas Steele much anymore, but
no, we don't,
Nathan was very nice, very polite, very professional. And that's the reputation he's over there. You never know with that though, do you? That's like footy, innit? Like like you say for Rochdale or for Everton. Sometimes it's like David Moyes wasn't like didn't win the Champions League, did he? Great manager though. And there's loads of those types of coaches, player coaches, people who are working with the youth team, people who are doing all kinds of jobs like that in back rooms that you wouldn't think would be the best at the job. But like with him, he's got that experience in a way that, like, if you blend that with experience from other walks of life, type of person you probably do want knocking around. As much as Pete Dunne and all the other lads will hate it, I think that real life feud continues on.
Well, man knew with Pete Dunne, they're using him as agent work for Thingamabob, Triple A, and doing stuff with Speed, and he's only early 30s, isn't he? So it's like.
Who knew that defending the wrestling / screw indie wrestling world would end up with everyone being agents in their late 20s / 30s? Like, it's not it. It's not where you thought most of those people would land, is it? Yeah, I still hold hope there's a big Pete Dunne run coming. He might have to go to AEW or somewhere else to get it, but maybe one day we'll pull it around.
When you were saying about AEW at the moment, I did catch like bits of Dynamite and some of the results, and it looked all right. The building looked nice, like well lit. It was good. The old ECW entrance.
Yeah,
it was just like an all. Yeah,
they tried. I've got mixed thoughts, and I'll save it for the weekend show. I was thinking I might even do a little video, but we'll see. But I was gonna do some thoughts on that, but like I was mixed on it. Like it was like somewhere between low rent and kind of cool, which is ECW, isn't it? So it's like it's fit into like the memory of it. But I didn't really know too much about it. FTR, speaking of them, arguing with like the fans in the crowd, trying to go full Dudley Boys. They felt like plants to me. I wasn't sure that was legitimate. But it allowed for some fucking wacky spots in that main event with Darby Allin.
Oh yeah, he did the
ECW you can get.
He did the same on in the cage match, the old bring on the wall spot. Where he just lobbed him.
He loves that. Yeah. But Linnae saying he hated how it looked like it. And I think it looked better than an NXT taping, but I get your feeling. It sounded like an NXT taping at times. When you can hear like that the echoey walls. Like that was the bit that felt a bit low rent to me at the start. I got used to it in the end, and I was all right with it. But yeah, Platt saying it was too bright. Highlight how small it is. Yeah, I can see that, and especially when it's going to be a few weeks as well. It's not even like it was a one-off. On like this big anniversary, it was an ECW tribute, and we all move on. They're going to be there for a couple more weeks,
Yeah. The what's it? I know you said Wardlow. He's returned. The rehabbing him, but how many rehab?
Didn't he?
Yeah, but some of the ones who they had on this week, how many times are going to rehab Hook?
Yeah,
Danny Garcia. Not for me.
He was good this week. He was good this week. I'm going to defend him when I go into the review on it. But I thought that was a good week for Garcia. It was a good week for Daniel Garcia and Wheeler Yuta. and it's not often that both of them have a good week in the same week. I
He's
enjoyed
another
both of them
one.
this week.
He's another one with Wheeler Yuta. It's like, oh no, not again. But
Really useless. Garrett's point.
Wheeler useless. Wheeler useless. Danny Garcia though, I've seen a promo of his where it's a bit of a shouty promo with Matt Menard in the back, and they do these so often. But it's been the same for like 2 years. It was going on about, I was in the back in that, that car park thing with Karen Jarrett, and I wanted to get
That's
at the
right,
Death Riders, and where were the stars? And I mean, like, weren't you doing like the TNT title or just having just bland matches while this was all going on and looking and
This is the
mugging?
one though. This is the one that's gonna stick, mate. We're finally gonna. Honestly, I thought he showed a fair bit of fire. I like the disappointment at losing. I thought Mox. You know what? I said it on Spotlight. I'm not changing my mind on what I thought about that Mox run for 6 months of it, but like I've loved them the last month or so. I'm turning into Martin Bushby. I might start my own Moxley podcast to rival him. He was brilliant with Garcia. Maybe that's more what I'm seeing this week. But I thought Garcia showed something this week.
Do you think Garcia? Because I think you mentioned it with Joe and JP. Like someone new probably needs to freshen up the Death Riders and the sack off Wheeler Yuta or Claudio for Daniel Garcia.
We all thought that at the start, didn't we? That was like Blackpool Combat Club early days. Brian wanted them, didn't he? There's a shoot, and everyone was arguing, going, "Oh no, we should stick." Remember, they put him with Jericho instead, and he was dancing like, and everyone was like, "Oh, that'll bring your personality out," and it fucking didn't. I don't know if necessarily fit the Death Riders now, but you can do a story with that maybe and make that interesting. But I'll be charitable to him this week when we review it. I thought Darby was brilliant in the main event, like I said, with the post spot, like the getting Spike Dudley into the table was brilliant. Got awesome bombed, all the hits. I enjoyed that, and I thought Wheeler Yuta did look good as well. The one thing I was glad of Dynamite this week was you got like I didn't love the Osprey angle at the end of the show. Joe was saying it was one of the best angles he's seen before live, of Forbidden Door, which fair enough. But for me, I was more into the actual real emotion of Osprey's really hurt and he's really going to be out for a year. You don't need wrestling heat to go along with it. When he comes back, it's going to be a big deal either way. But if you're going to do the angle, you need to sell it. And that was a big plus point when we review it that I'll be talking about. Like, I really thought like they hammered it home all the way through the show. All the main characters were talking about it. Hangman Page was talking about it. Like, it stayed with you. Well. Yeah. Whether that will still be the case in 10 months or whether it is when Osprey comes back, which, I don't. Maybe that's a broader question to ask you. Like, I don't know what AEW looks like for 10 months without Osprey and, without Swerve for a good chunk of time as well. But can you keep the heat till then is probably more the question. But it's going to be the question what it's even going to look like over that time.
Yeah, 10 months is a long time in wrestling, isn't it?
Everyone can move, can't they? Moxley might be a babyface again by then. Like, it genuinely, like, anything can happen. Might be back in WWE.
He could be in the Fed. Yeah. You've got to hope someone like, I think Eddie Kingston's the one in it when he's due back from injury, but that could be a couple of months. There's enough people there to keep it ticking. It probably looked like they could do Omega and Hangman versus Okada and Takeshita. We're like, which one's going to turn on who, and do that at the next pay-per-view, and then split off into doing Okada and Takeshita. And you could see Hangman and Omega as a title match.
Maybe that's where they're going. That's wrestling, isn't it? Like, usually these things happen for a reason, and usually there's an end game. That is the end game. I'll be fine with. I'm not sure. What do you think of Kenny's look on that? Right? Like his wet, his wet hair. He was. I'm not even saying this as a slight. He was just bigger, wasn't he? Like, he was bulkier in both, probably in positive and negative ways, to be fair. But he's in better shape than I'll ever be in my entire life. But it was just like, he looked strange, didn't he? Like the jeans as well. It was just a weird 80s action hero or something like that.
Yeah, he must have been on the cheese buffy breakfast now, or on the week.
Getting his money's worth, thanks, stuffing those baggy jean pockets. That's what he was doing. But I like that as well. MJF promo could give or take.
I don't mind MJF. He's always, for me, he's always captivating, and you do listen to what he says, even though he can go off in the comedic route. But I always enjoy seeing what he's going to do next.
It's always fascinating to see how his brain is wearing and what he's planning on doing next. I don't always enjoy the outcome, but I enjoy watching it. I enjoy seeing what bad decision he's going to make next. Is more the thing with me and our Max.
Same with FTR and Cage and Christian. That'll be good for the live crowd, but it depends how long they can run with this. They don't go into like a bloody best of three thing and then it ends in a TLC match.
It's usually the way, isn't it? I'll throw you the writing question from M Hamlet. No, that's too obvious. Michael H. No, he didn't really ask it. I'm just asking his Twitter question. Should Darby be world champion? There's been a lot of arguing about that going on over the last 20 hours. It was quite funny. I saw a lot of I would say younger people who have always grown up in a world where it doesn't mean, I just don't think it means as much to be world champion anymore. So maybe the children are right and we're wrong, but it's like, well, see, there you go. That's why Darby should be world champion. And I was watching that main event of Dynamite going, no, this is fucking brilliant. I'm so entertained. I love Darby. And I also don't think he should be the world champion. I don't think the two things have to be the same conversation. He's brilliant at what he is. Not everybody needs to be a world champion. Could I see, is there a way to book it that might be like a little charity run for a few months? Maybe, but it'd be way down my list of priorities for what to do with the world belt. It should be on Hangman for another year, then it should be on Ospreay for a year, then it should be back on Swerve for a year. I wouldn't get to it personally, and I don't think this week's Dynamite, as entertaining as Darby is, changed that conversation. And obviously, our mate Michael, which me and you'll be appearing on a podcast together with sometime very soon. Got a lot of pelters because I think he was actually, to be fair, maybe leaning more the other way. He was looking at Darby's length of run in AEW and his lack of progression, but I would argue, I don't know, I'm quite happy with where Darby is.
I'd rather be in Darby's position than Sammy Guevara's.
True. Remember him? He was a pillar. He was Jungle Jack. Pillars.
Yeah. I think, I know it's, comparing it to the WWE back in day, but a Jeff Hardy title run, 1 or 2 months, you can have a shit.
Transitional, like Little Nate says. Yeah.
Yeah. Like a shit house heel against him, which would probably be MJF, or maybe Kyle Fletcher. He'd be sort of good as a first challenger to Darby.
Yeah,
and I think they would have chemistry, them two.
Yeah, maybe at some point in the future. Platt says it could be like the Homicide run, where he wins it, and that's all you really remember. You don't think about the, when he eventually then ends up losing it.
It becomes you're just going. It's for that pop. It's for the moment.
For that moment.
Like a lot. To be honest, a lot of wrestling is nowadays, in it. They're all going for that moment more than people actually remembering the matches.
Yeah, very true. That's wrestling for you. But there we go, and we've got a bit of a AEW chat in there from you there as well. And we've answered the very important question there on Darby Allin. But was there anything else you wants to mention before we let you go? Anything else on AEW, Fed or otherwise? Looking forward to Clash in Paris this weekend. Obviously, me and JP will be previewing that tomorrow on Weekend Show.
Yeah, I'll be watching Clash in Paris, but it's just because there's nothing else Sunday night. So Arsenal Liverpool, and then going into that, and Rangers Celtic in the morning for a bit of comedy. So it's a
what a day,
cracking day on the box. I wouldn't. I'd say currently with the Fed, I'm very much in and out of it. Just like quite a few people. So it sounds like AEW from 6 months ago is it's maybe not for me. This, I know Raw's been all right, but SmackDown's just I'll just watch.
Everyone I speak to has the same take. Even the hardcore, everyone's just, it's almost like it's just happened. Or it's, I don't know, the blinkers haven't been taken off, but I think it's oh no, this is real. They really don't have any ideas. Everyone's they'll pull it round, WrestleMania was a bit disappointing. SummerSlam was a bit disappointing. Fuck. we're still going. We're still disappointing, aren't we? It's almost like Autobooker has taken over. It's almost just it is literally content for content's sake right now. Everyone's in a holding pattern and nothing interesting is going to happen because none of it really matters. Literally, it's almost like they're telling you that.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, definitely say so with that.
There we go. Well, like I say, we'll have you on Benno and Hamlet on an episode coming up. I'm looking forward to that. I'll arrange the date with you offline, mate. Yeah. I'll shoot you a message. We'll figure that out. Final 4, we said, we're having you on. So looking forward to that coming up in the future. But anything else anything else you've got going on? I know there's a lot else you've got going on. Feel free to plug, mate. Tell the world the multiple podcasts in the Ogden verse going on right now.
This is my fifth podcast in the last 6 days. So yeah. Full.
Thank you, mate. Appreciate you making the time.
And I've got another one tomorrow. So yeah, no. So yeah, go to Grabs and Claps podcast to listen to our reviews of Riot Cabaret, Red Pro, and also Forbidden Door. Might have some run-ins by a guitar and a ping pong tournament in the common room of the hotel I was stopping in. Oh yes.
Again, different thing in Bangkok, that. But anyway, carry on.
It is. And also go back to listen to the back catalogue of all the shites, mucks, Reslow, which we've had a new episode out, just released last night today. And we've also got UWA, which we've got a review of the missing episode 18 coming up on that one, which has Drew McDonald versus what we called Ian Harrison, the British Storm.
Oh, the one who turned up on early days of XWA in that.
XWF, yeah. Absolutely dreadful match. So go and listen to that on there. And also go
Big Papa T, mate, what a guy.
Oh, Papa T with the dance. And also go and listen to the other podcast that I'm on, which is the FWA Pod, Nothing Can Like It, at FWA Pod. Recently, we've had a show review of a round robin tournament in Enfield, but the two big shows, what we've done are the interviews with former FWA ring announcer John Atkins, which we found out about Benno's ticket, and which he was totally unaware of. It was such a great moment.
Honestly, I don't think I won. I really don't think I won now. The more I think about it, I think I was just confident enough that I had won that they had to give me the prize. That's honestly what I think the truth of the matter is now.
Yeah, and also go and listen to our 2.5 hour interview with Red Pro promoter, owner, booker.
Only 2.5 hours.
2.5 hours.
You would have gone another hour of saying it,
Well, on yours, you didn't have nearly a death of a cat in an hamster. So
we missed that entertainment, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, 2.5 hours of Andy Quilden, and we've got another episode coming up, I think, in the next week, which I'll be recording with Kieran and Eddie tomorrow.
Cracking stuff. Well, yeah, check Andy out everywhere he's available. Like I say, we'll have on Benno and Hamflet, and yeah, we'll have you back on a live sometime soon, mate. Nice one for jumping up.
Thanks very much. Take care, folks.
See you later. King of Brit Res, Andy Ogden there.
Cheers.
But there we go. Always fun to have Andy on, and yeah, I'll close us out if anyone's got any additional questions. Going to go through a little bit of feedback here, kind of chill out for the last 5-10 minutes or so before we get out of here. For those who still watching live with us, I just had to switch my tablet off. My mum was trying to ring me. She's gone to Primark to buy me some new boxes. This is obviously too much information for people, but literally I can't get it. It's a problem with buying clothes when you're in Thailand. Like, I can't get t-shirts that fit. My biggest problem is I can't find boxes that fit, to the point where I went online on Shopee, which is like the Amazon for Thailand, and tried to order myself a packet of extra large boxes. Like, they were all quite nice, black ones, and looked like they'd be a good few pairs. This is what I was sent in the post. Like, what the fuck are they? Like, they look like early 2000s indie shorts. They look like I could have worn them in like my wrestling. They look like Punk would wear them if you got like an XXX and Punk written on the side. You could wear them. I've started wearing them as like going around the house indoor clothes now rather than undies. So yeah, I had to call in a favour from my mum when she's coming on holiday in a couple of weeks to Thailand, and she's coming with a suitcase full of Primark underwear and some plain t-shirts for me. So yeah, that's how my life's going. But anyway, yeah, what's to throw that in there? Throw in a few extra things here at the end, as well as my life in Thailand. Obviously, I've got Tokyo coming up as well to answer that question somebody asked before too. But yeah, to answer the poll that we had earlier, obviously, did Forbidden Door hit your expectations, or was it up to expectations? 93% of you said yes, and only 7% said no. So that tells you everybody in the audience had a good time there. Linnae saying there, yeah, them and some kick pads. You could go to the next wrestling show in Thailand. I am probably going to go to I mentioned my story before about the cockroach issue in this apartment block, so it's put a little bit of a spanner in the works, but I think I'm going to stay in this apartment for another month. I'm gonna make some improvements to it. It always looks like I'm sat on the couch that's behind me there. I need to put some background up, maybe some blue lights or something like that, and maybe put some cockroach traps out there. And I think I'm probably gonna stay. I'm also gonna thank you to Kieran, who's Andy's co-host on multiple podcasts as well. I'm going to go into some podcast feedback now. I'm not going to include the bit of feedback that he did send to me, which was move away from your mic, you dickhead. Because the Joe spotlight this week, I have to apologize. I struggled to listen back to the show because I'm so close to the microphone that you can just hear me breathing and umming and ahhing, and I've sounded like Marge Simpson into the microphone. I've said it now, so hopefully nobody's still got some of that podcast to listen back to, and you can hear nothing else. But I'm trying to improve my setup over here, so hopefully Kieran's advice ringing in my ears will improve it. And thank you to the other couple of people who reached out and did point it out. I notice it more than anybody else, but it drives me mad. Yeah, Lene says get a pop filter. Maybe that would potentially help. What it is not to go into too much into it. Spotlight this week, we have to record very late. I was happy to do it any time to get Joe on, but like it was like 4 a.m. here, so like I've got fucking fans going, I've got aircon going, I've got like as much white noise going as possible to drown me out for the neighbors. But what that then means is I have to get close into the microphone so that you can't hear that. So yeah, I'm trying to do both at the same time, and yeah, didn't work out the best for this week's spotlight. Tom said I'm fine. Thank you, Tom. I'll take that, but. It's always one of those things. Once you hear it, you can't. It's a bit like Conrad Thompson. If you ever listen to any of their podcasts, I know you can hear us and breathing through the podcast. That's my worst nightmare. That used to happen on my old microphone, and I think somebody got in touch once and was like, "You sure you're in good health there, Benno? You don't sound too well." That's a lesson to move away from your mic, folks. But yeah, I think I can make some improvements and make this work as a little podcast set up for another month here in Thailand, so I'll do that. So yeah, did get that feedback. Some other bits of feedback we got from this week's spotlight. Again, thank you to all the positive feedback. I think it's funny, we take for granted maybe a little bit that obviously you are all the same people who were around when Joe was around 5 years ago, and there's probably a lot of people who never heard Joe before on the podcast who were hearing him for the first time last week, who seemed to enjoy him very much on Spotlight. So that was great to hear, and good to see it traveling around to some of the older listeners who haven't listened to a Spotlight in a little while. But yeah, I got some interesting feedback on the Discord. I thought I'd mention before we get out of here. Nick Yeoman mentioned about the Carter Swerve match. Don't know if you can quite see that there from Discord, but I'll read it out. He said he wasn't sure he agreed with the assessment. It was just one guy dragging it down, as me and Andy kind of just alluded to there. He said, I think a lot of people had this match as one that could undeliver because of Okada, but nobody's saying it out loud. But since All Out, he said a lot of Swerve's limitations have really been exposed. He lists his pay-per-view run, so Lashley, Ricochet, Moxley, Okada as matches, and says if those matches happen back-to-back, rather than being broken up by the various multi-man matches, he thinks a lot more people would say that Swerve has been underwhelming in ring, at least on pay-per-view. I guess is the point he's saying there, that he struggles to work with anybody who works a style slightly more methodical than a pure sprint. I've been someone who's been critical of Swerve's style. He can be very indie at the times when he works. Some of his moveset I'm not usually a fan of. I mean, when you put it like that, there's something to it. Like I pulled up. I don't know if anyone in the chat agrees or disagrees, but I pulled up his cage match to have a little look at it and see if there's like any kind of truth to kind of that and like where I landed on like his matches. We've obviously got the Meltzer ratings here, which are massively inflated, but I guess if you don't count the tag matches, there might be some truth into it. Like I guess we didn't mention the Ospreay match from June. Meltzer went 5.25 stars on that one, 8.55 on cage match, but it's Ospreay, so maybe we'll let that go. The Moxley match, obviously, we were all negative on, 4.68 on cage match that got at the time. The Ricochet match, I don't remember whether I was positive or negative on at the time. I feel like I was high enough on both characters that I kind of let it slide, but from what I remember, that was more of a character type match, working to its spot on the card, so I didn't hate it. 4.75, apparently, according to Meltzer, still 8.51 on cage match. And obviously, yeah, there's the other Ricochet match, 4.5 stars there. Rick Day off Fox this year. That would have been a TV as well. And then the Lashley match was the tail end of last year, and that was disappointing. But that was, you would probably just say that's Lashley, no, and blame him and blame Lashley for it. But yeah, I guess with Swerve, I think because he's somebody that we're all high on, he's somebody that we all want to see do well, and we see carries himself like a star and seems to have a lot of input in his stories and his week-to-week TV. You don't really treat him like that, do you? You don't like see him as a matches guy like an Osprey or a Omega would be. So maybe that's why he gets forgiven. Maybe him taking this sidestep. Maybe the fact that he hasn't been 100% is part of it as well. But point taken, you know, he was the other half of the match, and I did think the match was disappointing. I did think it was a bit of a 3.25 to 3.5 star classic from him in Okada, and yeah, maybe he's hiding in plain sight there. He's certainly not hiding right now on Twitter, as he seems to be using his couple of months off to very much go after all of his enemies on Twitter. But yeah, obviously another point made there on the Discord as well, that obviously with Swerve's injury angle kind of taking place after the match with Wardlow, nobody was really talking about that. You know, at the end of the night, nobody was talking about it, and maybe that's Swerve selling is the point that's made here as well. That maybe is the reason we didn't really talk about it and moved on, unlike the way we're having the Osprey conversation. So yeah, thought that was interesting feedback. I think it's a fair point worth raising. We'll see if Swerve can kind of raise the level of what he's doing once he gets back into AEW, hopefully sooner rather than later, because I just think AEW will be a tough place without Osprey and without Swerve kind of soldiering things at the top end of the card. But maybe Omega can fill that role. Other bits of feedback we got this week on the YouTube. Got plenty of it. Again, please throw your comments on the YouTube if you can. It always helps us with the algorithms trying to get the YouTube up, hence why I've been doing these lives, which I'm probably going to keep going through September. In fact, definitely, I'm going to keep going through September. We'll see what happens in October. Might take a little bit of time off with me trip to Tokyo, but yeah, and every little helps. Every like, every comment, even throw some emojis in there, as I have actually literally done. I'm giving away my homework here on the Benno and Hamlet account just to get a bit of engagement up on the Grapple YouTube. But yeah, I got some interesting comments this week. Aaron Black mentions, how about League Two? That referring to me talking about a Premier League team will always beat did I say a League One or a Championship team in the Forbidden Door review? Yeah, that didn't age well, did it, with Man United Grimsby? So yeah, there you go. The League Two team can sometimes win as well. Adam Granger mentions in the feedback there, he says he's got to say Mox feels reinvigorated as the main villain. He seems to be relishing it in a way that was missing when he actually had the belt. I think that's true. I think, as we talked about there with Dynamite this week and his general performances, and even like there was a point where he was looking at Garcia across the ring this week, and like he was like dying for the belt ring, dying to get the match started. Just looked motivated. He just looked into it. He looked like he was dying to work that type of match he did with Garcia, where he gets to go over, so he gets to enjoy that, but he gets to make the young guy look good and gets to present Garcia in the way that, you know, Moxie's got a very particular way he thinks wrestling should be presented, so he gets to present to Garcia in that way. He seems to be enjoying that. He seems to be enjoying working the Jet Speed lads over there the last few weeks, and obviously with Darby, as we saw in the main event of Dynamite this week, you can be as creative as you like because Darby's going to do whatever you want to do. I think he's really, really going to sink his teeth into that match as well. So yeah, I think that was I think it's absolutely true. I think he is reinvigorated. I think he is enjoying life, and I think maybe having that pressure off of not being the champion but being a very important guy in AEW, almost like a kind of proving himself mentality, has been a massive positive for him. Just looking at the chat, Platts mentions there, good to have Joe back. Yeah, definitely would agree. Bashir says need to get the likes in at the start of the stream, like the FPL deadline streams. Yeah, that does help, I think. Something in the algorithms when you do it. But throw your likes in there whenever you can. I'll always take it. Adam threw a few other bits of feedback in there talking about the tag three-way, as me and Andy mentioned. Yeah, probably a better match than we gave credit for on Spotlight, because we were so distracted by the finish. Yes, where was MVP? I don't think there's been any reporting on that. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat, if there's been anything, but I don't think anything's come out about why he didn't come to England. You'd think that'd be a story if there was something to do with his criminal record there, or like I said on Spotlight, he came over TNA. I saw him in Manchester. The Beatdown Clan, remember that stable in TNA? Loki was in it. Samoa Joe was in it, I think. They did the whole like Wu-Tang Clan influence thing. I remember going to like one of those Impact tapings where they tape about 4 episodes of TNA, and you hear like, it's a bit like Aces and Eights. You hear the song over and over and over again, that Beatdown Clan song, and MVP would walk out. I feel like it happened about 8 times in the same night. So unless it's a Mandela effect, and I didn't really see him, if he could come over for TNA, you'd think Tony Khan could get him over. Maybe that's what it is. Tom says there on the Moxley point, he's working around his limitations really well lately. I think he only took 3 bumps in the Garcia match. I didn't pick up on that. But yeah, that would make sense. Like he's working to the person he's working with strengths, and maybe working to his own strengths as well. Maybe that's part of it. Platt says that's a deep cut to do. The beatdown clan. Nah, I think that's too deep a cut even for me. Maybe one of you Kings of the Mountain could pull that out at some point, and that could be a show. They're always trying to outdo themselves, those lads. So maybe that could be an idea. Ewan saying, yeah, it was 2014 when the beatdown clan were on that tour, Wembley. He saw them. And of course, MVP did PCW as well. Andy Ogden says there. Good to see him in the chat already. And was in the Stanley Arms too. So yeah, there's just no reason, unless something's going to come out over the coming days, that there was some kind of politics at play, or there was some other good reason there. I don't know. The other comment Adam threw down there for us, beef eaters, which we were talking about with the guards, weren't we? They were Coldstream guards. Apparently Big Daddy was one. Don't remember that being a thing. But yeah, he says he's joking. No sane man could be expected to know the difference. Only the Tories know the difference there. And Main J Bull is the guy I was thinking of in the chat on Spotlight, who is the one guy who's hoping the night. No offense to him. I hope your dreams come true, mate. Who's hoping for Naito and AEW, and the Joe scoop that has not spread to any news sites yet. Fightful, please don't write this up as a report. Comes true. He's very hopeful of seeing Naito and LFI. He mentions here he'd like to see. This Chris Petrus, I thought, was having a go at us. All capital letters. Benno, you are excellent. I'll take feedback like that. Enjoy listening to you. Very knowledgeable, insightful. Oh, isn't that nice? But then he does go on to say, if you think this, talking about the New Japan AEW relationship, me and Karen were talking about last week, if this is a one-sided relationship, we're seriously suffering from groupthinkitis. I mean, I think it's true to say AEW and New Japan is a one-sided relationship. It's just whether that's a justified one-sided relationship at this point with what New Japan have got to offer, because yeah, I do think in the cold light of day, we can all see the weakness on the New Japan side, but we can also see that, AEW could give that little bit more. It's a bit like the Red Pro relationship with New Japan, where the shoe is on the other foot. Give them that little bit more. We could have had a little bit more New Japan on Forbidden Door. We could have, given them a little bit more spotlight than one of two wrestlers that Tony Khan remembers from his 2017 New Japan fandom heyday. But hey ho. But yeah, there you go. That's the feedback we've got there. Great Brashiel. Linnae in the chat mentions he spoke to MVP in the Stanley Arms about Man United when he was in his ridiculously heavy fur coat. Yeah, I do remember seeing pictures of that knocking rounds. Maybe he just can't get a work visa and TNA didn't bother. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Pot says there. Linnae saying it was Shirley's gimmick. Oh, was it, as a guardsman before he became Big Daddy? Didn't know that. He's talking like Biff Busick. Ewan mentions there in the chat as well, but. There we go. Well, yeah, I was going to say that's pretty much it as far as the feedback goes. Obviously, keep it coming. It helps us everywhere it goes. As I mentioned earlier, I'm probably going to do a bit of a Dynamite review. We'll see. If it turns out to be shit, you'll never see it. If it's any good, it'll be going up on the YouTube imminently. Otherwise, you should pay us and join us on the Patreon, and you'll get the weekend show version of the Dynamite review with me and JP. JP has messaged me while I've been on air. He wants a 3:30 weekend show tomorrow, so I think that's what it's going to be. So mark your calendars and join us tomorrow from about 3:30 over on the Patreon. Like I say, that is coming up. We've got the Urban Wrestling Federation coming up on Sunday. Simon's King of the Mountain show with me, JP, and Matty. Matty's a couple of episodes into the homework. I'm saving it till Sunday. That's going to be an early show as well, 12:30 UK time on Sunday, which means 6:30 Bangkok time, which means I've got the bulk of a day to watch all 6 episodes of the Urban Wrestling Federation. Matty said that's the work of an insane man. I think that's the work of a very sane man. I think that is the best way to do it. I don't want to ruin the entire week trying to make sense of these shows. Or I might love it. I honestly think I might, depending on who the rappers are and who the wrestlers are that appear on that. But if you haven't heard yet, we're doing a deep cut at the end of the week on that. And then, yeah, right into Dealer's Choice. I can reveal for Dealer's Choice next month. We're fixing the order a little bit just because of some schedule and issues. I'm going last because if I'm not first, I'm last. So I will be the last week of Dealer's Choice month, which means we're just going to do it in reverse grapple order. So Matty's going to have first choice, which he's going to be revealing on the pre-show on Sunday this weekend. Always good to start off with Matty. It'll be something fun, and they'll be into to Gareth, and then we'll be into JP, who will maybe make us eat our greens. Although he tells me he's got a fun choice this time for Dealer's Choice. We'll have JP's pick, and then I'll have me closing it out. And all I can say about my one is it's going to be suit the day or date that we are recording my one on as well. So you can very much look forward to that. Platt says Urban Wrestling Federation is a lot to watch in one go. We'll see. I'll do my best. We'll see how I get on. Maybe I'll try it on Saturday night as well. Maybe Garrett's going to go Rick Rude. Platt does make a good point. Garrett has been threatening it for a while, but this is the first dealer's choice where I've really not got a big guess on it, what anyone's going to do. We've done a few of them now, so we've got a few sacred cows out the way. I can tell you mine won't be Joe Kobashi. I saw somebody ask whether it might be that. We've already done it for a dealer's choice. It is the 20-year anniversary, though, so maybe you'll hear me talk that somewhere else. But I'm probably not going to go ROH this time, so look forward to what I'm going to pick. But yeah, of course, that's coming up next month. Like I say, weekend show tomorrow, and Spotlight coming up will be me and Matty this time, with it being a fair pay-per-view weekend, and I think we're aiming for Monday for that as well. So look forward to that, folks. Like I say, give us a like, give us a comment. It always helps with your support as well. But yeah, patreon.com/grapple for all that, youtube.com/@grapple for the rest of it. But again, thank you, everybody, for tuning in for another live. Thank you to our patrons. Thank you to our live patrons. And thank you to the live viewers here on YouTube. And as always, thank you to our kings and queens of the mountain, Conor O'Loughlin, Eddie Sarbanes, Chris Black, Kargak, Sophie Hitchcock, Sam Mulvaney, and Marty Ellis. We will catch you again on the next one. Good night, all. Oh, it's going to play the Joe video again, isn't it? I think it might. Oh, well.